School days, school days. We got a new set of rules today. Resourcing, regulation, and resiliency. Connect and calm down, and you might be present securely. You feel in your own seat, and your mood and your heart just might find its own beat. School days, yeah, we got a new set of rules today. Time will pass by so pleasantly. Loving your school might just come naturally. School days, dear old new school days. School days, new school days. Resourcing, regulation, and resiliency. Resourcing, regulation, and resiliency. Resourcing, regulation, and resiliency. The three legs of attachment. 1, the parent and the adult family. Siblings, cohorts and peers. Teachers and education. Parental attachment state of mind and the child's attachment style. Parental styles, if secure and autonomous, a secure child. Higher abilities to self-reflect. Parental styles, if dismissing, insecure, avoidant child. Don't tend to take risks, may be perfectionistic and or self or other critical. Parental styles, if preoccupied, insecure, ambivalent child. Tend to have a hard time making choices or decisions. Parental styles, if organized and secure child. Parental styles, if not, the child has less ability to self-regulate or access the brain's default mode network and calm themselves down and change their emotional states on their own or to regulate. 3 perspectives approach: past, present, future. Numeral 1, shifting away from moral labeling, very old style. Describes what's deficit with you. Numeral 2, diagnostic, psychobehavioral language. It's still used, but it's confusing. Describes what's wrong with you. Numeral 3, we're moving towards a neuro-emotional behavioral language that is research-based and makes common sense, here and now observations. Describes what has or is happening to you. When dealing with ACE or adverse childhood experience, it is necessary to have that language which is descriptive and values neutral. That describes what has or is happening to you. This is a broad description of resourcing ACE or adverse childhood experience. What are some of the words that describe an ACE resource list? We're going to start with CPR, connection, present time orientation, and broad resources. At the top of the list, we start with caring, being protective and okay and safe now, and of course, rest. You can look at the rest of the list at your convenience. Resourcing, a menu of skills taught to support emotional regulation. It is also found in SEL or social emotional learning curriculums such as Mind Up or Second Step. Resourcing and managing coping. Identify neuro-emotional responses. Regulation through connection. Analyze your coping responses. Regulating classroom atmosphere. Understanding our automatic coping system gives us a new language of description and actions. Understanding gives us an advantage in knowing when and how to use resourcing and regulation strategies with students in the classroom and with ourselves and each other. Language, understanding, and skill supports a resilient educational environment that is safer and more satisfying for everybody. How do we distinguish between willful misconduct and ACE-related emotional and/or behavioral dysregulation? By understanding more about the brain and the nervous system. By understanding that children with ACE, adverse childhood experience, cannot help their dysregulation. It's actually automatic. Whereas children with willful misconduct gain by their manipulative social behavior intentionally. They have some willful control. Let's start with willful misconduct and/or immature impulsive behavior. Let's meet Rob the Rascal. He needs to learn how to achieve win-win social outcomes by learning the benefits of playing by the rules in groups, channeling aggression, and becoming a servant leader. The nervous system automatically avoids, adapts, and protects us from pain and threat. Learning the language of how we cope. It's all about time and time orientation, which we believe is a hippocampal function that serves to keep us oriented to the present time and sort our past memories from past experiences as compared to what is happening right now. The amygdala functions are considered fight, flight, freeze, attachment cry, collapse, and of course recovery from collapse. Children with ACE have trouble with coping and handling stressors by either flight, B, flight, C, freeze, D, attachment cry, E, collapse, F, recovery, or loss of time orientation. We need to know more about our students' history to understand what adverse memories or experiences are barriers to them engaging and learning in school. It is important to understand why some children of ACE do not seem to be present, cannot handle transitions, and have a hard time attending. Dissociation. Resourcing them includes smiling in order to connect, the concept of time continuum, past, present, future, how, when, and why to time orient, cueing, body and space or focusing on detailed awareness of things or persons around them, like having both cheeks evenly on the chair, Resourcing them includes also having an understanding of how the brain works to time orient us and them. Let's meet the brain's time machine. Resetting the brain's clock, tickling the hippocampus. Meet the hippocampal honeybee. Dysregulation and acting with too much arousal leads to dissociation, ultimately loss of time orientation like our hippocampal honeybee demonstrated, and of course a loss in the ability to learn. This inability to learn is because the student is no longer present. Comeback from dissociation is managed by connecting with humans in a relationship. This re-engages the new learning process because the student is now back with us in terms of being present time oriented. Another way of looking at this is the concept of window of tolerance. It's another way of looking at dissociation and our coping system's function, in that we can tolerate more stress, threat, or challenge if we feel safety with the people we're with. You'll notice in this slide the concept of hyperarousal and hypoarousal. At both extremes, there's loss of time orientation to the present. In hypoarousal, we have fight, flight, and attachment cry, those defensive protective functions. And in hypoarousal, we have recovery from collapse, freeze, collapse, and of course in the extreme, loss of time orientation to the present. Perceived safety is the nature of the resource of human relationship. Lack of control and emotional regulation are common in children with ACE. Positive affect intolerance is defined as an inability to tolerate positive feelings. Children with ACE improve their ability to tolerate positive feelings by having positive relationships with teachers and other students. Understanding their behavior comes from an understanding of the functions of the amygdala or the automatic coping system. Resourcing them with skills such as learning to measure their emotions with temperature gauges or SUD, subjective unit of distress scales, learning about other interventions that calm them down and/or helps them to cope. The emotional brain is complex. Our new language allows us to understand and intervene. Now meet Al the amygdala mongoose. Don'ts. Fight back. Encourage power struggles or fuel the fire. Don't focus on the past or on moral issues such as respect or shame. Do's. Access for safety. Give space to cool down. Offer water. Allow motor movement to discharge energy. Encourage distraction. Flight. Don'ts. Grab. Chase. Startle. Do's. Assess for safety. Give space to wander safely. Toss a ball. Time orient. Distraction. Engage them in helping behaviors of others or the authority, if can. Freeze. Don'ts. Startle. Rush. Give ultimatums. Crowd them. Do's. Lower voice, smile, sound safe. Come to them gently and within space. Reassure them that you are with them through this. Time orient. The danger has passed. You are safe with me now. Attachment cry. Don'ts. Cry with them. Shut them down. Humiliate them or draw attention. Do's. Gather information. Use empathy, soft touch. Offer privacy. Offer choice options to connect with safety. Collapse. Don'ts. Abandon them. Coerce them. Crowd them. The do's. Get them air, assessment, resources. Tactile support as tolerated. Offer privacy. Encourage movement as tolerated. Recovery. Don'ts. Force them from their refuge space. Rush them. Confront them with the past. Coerce, focus, or humiliate. Do's. Offer a soft voice and smile. Wait. Offer reassurance that this too will pass. Pay social contact to their tolerance. The following pages are excerpts from Diana Browning Wright's material on Tier 1, 2, 3 strategies that are used to help emotional regulation in the classroom. Please review them at your convenience. Some of the many things teachers give us. 1. Core stable attachment from childhood through adulthood. 2. Solid interpersonal and civic values. 3. Knowledge and the ability to learn, reason, empathize, and lead our society.
and arithmetic, taught to the tune of a hickory stick.
School days, dear old new. School days. School days. New school days. Resourcing, regulation, and resiliency. Resourcing, regulation, and resiliency. Resourcing, regulation, and resiliency.